Go
Showtime.
live?
I
Oh,
think
it's
so.
showtime. Good job.
Hello,
Lindsay.
everybody.
Hi. Can you guys see us? Can you guys hear us? That's a
Oh, yes.
miracle. Yep, we did some cake pops. Let's see. Oh, here. I don't know where you're going to get that, Lindsay. Oh, that probably won't come on the computer, will it? Okay, you can hear, you can see. That's very
Yay.
exciting. All right. For those who don't know, Steve is doing something very exciting. He is in Washington, D.C., and he's a member of the Planetary Society. And the Planetary Society called for volunteers to go to Washington and have little chit-chats with Congress critters and or their staffers to talk about how the Planetary Society thinks NASA or the government should spend money on space exploration. So specific targeted things. And he went out yesterday. He had training all day today by Bill Nye the Science Guy in
So
person.
cool.
We introduced the grandkids to, Lindsay's kids to Bill Nye the Science Guy today so that they would appreciate how cool this is.
A trip down a 90s memory lane with Bill Nye. There's nothing like it. I highly suggest for everybody.
Yeah, we watched one on lift from air pressure, and I'm not going to lie, I learned a couple of things. I've always had a vague idea of the whole, it's the wind above your wings, not the wind beneath your wings that makes you fly, but I didn't really understand the exactly what goes on with the air pressure and stuff. So it was cool. One thing you might want to do, Lindsay, is press the little moon button on the keyboard to make sure you're in Do Not Disturb.
Ooh. You have a moon on your keyboard? That's cool.
Yeah, so do you, as it turns out, on your Mac.
Huh. I need to look at that.
Just discovered it. It's on the F6 key.
How can I confirm Do Not Disturb is now on?
If you click on Control Center. Oh, I hear monsters.
Yes. Do Not Disturb.
Hi, Sienna. Oh, I'm going to get Forbes. Watch out for this cable. Step gently over it. There we go. Hi. Do you want the headphones? Yeah. Say hi to your sister. Oh.
Hi, Bob.
Oh, you are going to blast out their eardrums, Sienna.
Hold them on your own ears. Talking to the microphone. Say hi,
Hi,
to your
Bob. Hi, Sienna.
Oh, she can't actually hear, and I don't know how
I'm
to hear.
sorry.
sister. She's saying nonsense. I bet she's saying something. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, that's him.
Talk to the
That's
audience.
him.
Say hi. Say hi to Jill.
Hi,
Hi, Jill.
Bob.
Are you done?
Sorry, you can't hear.
It's so funny. Okay, but be careful of that cable.
Yeah.
Seriously. Everything falls down if anybody kicks this cable. Gently.
Don't touch the
The
cable.
Ethernet cable is dragged between the two rooms. Oh, Boutros55 agrees with whatever Sienna just said.
Hello. I think Kevin. Kevin said hi.
Oh, Kevin says hi.
Let me hear.
Okay,
Although,
give me
Kevin, I only see a
Your headband
picture.
was fine. Your headband was fine. It's good.
I don't see a
Say hi to
video.
Mommy.
Hi, Mommy.
You see her?
Hi, sweetie.
Hi, Sienna. That's bad.
Very good. You're talking loud enough. Okay, say bye, everybody.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye. I could hear her. Bye.
Thanks, Nolan.
You're welcome. Hi, bye.
Bye.
Oh, Peter. Yes, Peter, thank you. Oh, Tesla's joined me. That's it. She can stay. Come here, Tesla. Let's just take your collar out. Everybody really wants to see
Thank you.
Tesla. All right. There we go. All right, the gang's all here. Oh, do you guys want to actually see Tessa? Tell me if my camera is doing this right. Tessa. Hello, everybody. Hi, Tessa. Oh, it's good video. Very professional around the NosillaCast, you know. So let's see. Lindsay is going to be reading a book. Oh, there it is. That was giving her ice cream. Good stuff. Allison calls me John because George is too hard to say. I thought his name was John. This headphone jack is dodgy. I move it, it's not making sense here. It is John. He's just being his pest. All right. So Lindsay's going to put in links to the articles, and then Jill is going to copy and paste any images. She's going to do that part of what Steve normally does. Oh, but we didn't do roll call. We've got Kevin and Peter and Bruce and Corky and Mike and Jill and Lindsay the daughter and John and me and Sandy, and we do not have Steve. How's that for enough roll call? All right, there we go. So I am going to start. I'm going to start recording. You ready, Linz? You ready to? Let's see. So you mute yourself by clicking on your own face down below, right?
Yes. And everybody hold your breath that our internet does not go out.
Yeah, I was recording with Bart. We finished recording, and then all of a sudden it was gone, and I looked down, and the Eero had a red light on it. So maybe I overheated it. We'll get going. Oh, did you notice it takes two people to replace Steve? All right, here we go. So mute yourself, Linz. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, April 28th, 2024, and this is show number 990. Well, we're flying without Steve tonight. Steve is actually in Washington, D.C., lobbying Congress critters on behalf of the Planetary Society on how money should be spent on space exploration. So he's standing in for Steve in the live show right now is my daughter, Lindsay. So she's been running the show. She's running the board, if you will. She got to hit the go live button. She said she feels very powerful. It has also been noted, I think it was Mike noted that it took two people to replace Steve, because Jill from the North Woods is going to be putting in the images into the show notes as we do the live show, which is something fun you get to see when you come to the live show. In any case, let's kick in. All right. That looks like a little bit extra here. A little bit of trouble hitting all the buttons, the windows and buttons in this, because everything's too narrow on a 12.9-inch screen.
Question to the audience. We just had a lawnmower start next door, so that's really nice. Can anybody hear that?
I didn't
Not
even
that we
notice
can.
it.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Not that we can do anything about it.
Yeah. Thanks. And you came right back in, right when you're supposed to, Linz. Okay, I'm going to
Yay.
save. Now a chapter mark. Okay, so now we're going to have a link here. You know, I realized I am copying the links right now. Do you want me to just do it, Linz?
No, I want to do it.
Okay, you do it. Good. Actually, no, it was this. 'Cause I am doing it at the same time. Never occurred to me that he was having to do that. Steve, Dad actually puts all of the links into an email. He puts them in there, and so they're ready to copy and paste.
Oh, that's funny.
I updated the save note for Lindsay. Oh, did you? Let's see.
Thanks.
Lindsay the winglet commands it. Oh, man. You have all the tabs open. Okay, good. Good job. Thanks, Jill. Okay, I am going to, now I got to, okay, where I go here, this one. Here we go. All righty. That's security bits. That's the wrong link. I need this one. There we go. In this week's episode of Chit Chat Across the Pond Light, Bart Busschots joins us to talk about weather apps. He is a serious weather nerd by necessity, living in Ireland and being an avid bike rider. As he walks through the apps for us, he'll explain which ones fall down on privacy and which ones have good apps for everything from the watch to iOS to the Mac. He'll even go through how he uses different widgets to help him decide how much rain gear to wear. Now, I want to give you one caveat to our conversation. At the very end, I sprang the question of price on Bart, and he answered to the best of his memory, but he didn't have any of that written in the show notes. Turns out his memory was a little bit rosier than reality. You'll hear him say that none are more than €20 per year, but I looked up Weather Up, the one I was most interested in, and in the US, it's $40 per year. Now, this might still be worth it to you, but I wanted to make that slight correction. But I do want to say this is my bad because I didn't give him a heads up that I'd be asking about price. In any case, go check it out in your podcatcher of choice under Chit Chat Across the Pond Lite or the full Chit Chat Across the Pond feed. Keeping an eye on the wife. What do you mean there, Kevin?
On video.
Oh, is he watching?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's fun. Let's see, where are we? Okay. Do an article from CSUN. All right. I love it. My family's so supportive. Lindsay said, so what am I going to do if I get bored? No, bored while you're talking. That's what you said. Show them. You actually did bring your book.
I did, yes.
It's a really good book, right, Lynn?
It is. It's Mom's fault because she recommended it to me.
It's called The Handmaid. It is a page turner. Okay, here we go. This will just take a second. Let's see. Jump out, Linz. All right, let's get started with another interview from the CSUN Assistive Tech Conference. And, by the way, one of the interviews here, whoops, didn't stop. Stop. You can come back in, Liz. There. One of the interviews I'm going to play today is possibly my favorite interview, probably my favorite interview from CSUN.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Question for you. I'm only seeing how to remove my video and then a separate button mute my mic. There's not a way to do both at the same time, right?
As soon as you're out of the stage there, then you're not visible anymore.
Okay, so let me
audio
remove myself.
Can't hear you. So that's
Cool.
as desired. Yeah.
I copied the link too early. Sorry.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's okay. How could you know that it takes me this long to get it in? Okay, here we go. Let's have a listen to this. From the CSUN Assistive Tech Conference. Does that sound like the right mic? No, that's right. It's just, these headphones are different, and I always think, oh man, this is the wrong mic. It's just because the headphones sound different. Hear this on feed. All right, let's get started with another. I think that's too much gap. I don't like silence. Has anybody noticed that? Feed. All right, let's get started with another. I can hear that mouse clicking. Tech Conference. I am back in the Touch Graphics booth again this year, again talking to my friend Lindsay Yazzolino, and she's going to tell us what advances they've made since we talked last year. How are you doing today, Lindsay?
I'm doing great, just enjoying the beginning of the conference.
Yeah, everybody's fresh now.
I know.
All right.
Coffee in hand. Yep.
So you're... All right, that is a very long one, so I'm not going to play all of that. This was an interesting lesson on how, because I'm sighted, I didn't get it. There's some displays that you put your hands completely on, and you move your hands around, and then when you find what you want, then you lift everything but the one finger, and then it talks to you with that one finger. And it was something where they said that in order to get situational awareness, if you're blind, you need all of your fingers. You need everything to be able to touch. And I was just going in and touching with one finger and not understanding the main way that worked. So that was pretty interesting. All right.
I love sage and sausage, Bruce. It's the best.
Choosing which sausage? Oh, you're the sage. All right. I don't think I'm going to say anything about that, but of ViewSonic. So I've chosen another, I've chosen another display.
And I've reaped the benefits.
And Sandy's going to reap the benefits as well. So Sandy asked whether I was going to have a garage sale of all the different displays I've got, and so Sandy's getting one, and Lindsay got the other one. Because I think having 3 sitting in the closet is probably too many. All right. Oh, what did I just? Oh, no, there we go. Okay, ViewSonic. I need this one up front. All right, here we go. So you're getting the 4K one, Sandy. The KYY. Okay. Okay. Hi, my name is Allison, and I have a portable USB-C display problem. Today I'm going to tell you about the 6th one I've acquired in 3.5 years. I'll be talking about the $500 ViewSonic VX1655 4K OLED that Steve just gave me for my birthday. But before we start, let's just do a quick recap. The problem portable USB-C displays solve is to give you more screen real estate when you're somewhere a permanent desk with a big display just doesn't work. Maybe you're a road warrior, or maybe you live in a small apartment where a big permanent setup is not an option. The display needs to be light and compact so it's easy to carry around, and it needs to be stable on surfaces from hotel desks to couches while lounging. Ideally, it would be bright, have rich colors with high resolution, and have good cable management. And of course, there's always a price consideration. I went through all of my previous articles about USB-C displays, and I put all of the models I've tested into a little table that shows the evolution of the products over time. The table shows the 6 displays comparing screen size, resolution, weight, thickness, whether they have a kickstand, and the all-important price. By the way, I did something interesting here. I made the table in numbers because numbers makes pretty tables, and then I took a screenshot of it and I put it in the show notes. And then I realized by doing it that way, I have now made it where I have to write a really long alt tag for the blind because they're not going to know what anything in that table says. So I thought, well, wait a minute. I've got it in a table, in a spreadsheet. I wonder if there's an easy way to make it a markdown table and embed that into the show notes so everybody can read what I had to say. So I found a site called tabletomarkdown.com, and it's as easy as you can imagine. You copy the cells, you paste in there, like no formatting, no worrying. Am I in Excel, or am I in Google Sheets, or am I in Numbers? And I just pasted it in, and it wrote the markdown. I copied it, I pasted it in the show notes, and it looked perfect. I did a little bit to the table, like to make things center justified, but it was like 4 things I had to add. Anyway, I just want to tell people I just figured that out because I paste in tables all the time. This is a much better way to do it. So there's a link in the show notes to tabletomarkdown.com. But that's an aside. So now I've got these 6 different devices that I've tested. The Lapao, the Yo-Yo, the CocoPar, the KYY, the Ricoh, and now the ViewSonic. In my most recent review in February, I told you about the Ricoh OLED 150 display that was very impressive. The Ricoh 150 was the first OLED screen I'd ever reviewed, which gave it 3 advantages over my recent favorite, the KYY 4K. The Ricoh 150 OLED is a gorgeous display that made me realize what a game changer OLED is in the richness and brightness of colors. OLED displays are also impossibly thin. The Ricoh 150 is only 0.19 inches thick at its thinnest point. Being thin also makes it much lighter than standard LCD displays. The Ricoh 150 weighs 1.23 pounds versus the KYY at 1.7 pounds. It's still really, really light, but it's even lighter. But the real glory was that the Ricoh 150 had a kickstand. Now, I know that sounds silly, but I will not buy another portable display without a kickstand. Those floopy cover case things are a little bit rough. The Ricoh 150 had a big downside compared to the KYY, other than costing twice as much. It's only 1080p, where the KYY is 4K. I have a lot of friends in my age group, and even younger than me, who don't seem to mind lower resolution screens, but ever since my cataract surgery, I can sure tell the difference. Looking at jaggy text truly bothers me. The beautiful OLED screen on the Ricoh 150 took some of the edge off, but I still wasn't quite happy. At the end of my Ricoh display conversation, I said that I was still looking for the perfect portable USB-C display. I explained that Dave Hamilton of the Mac Geek Gab was tempting me by telling me about the ViewSonic VX1655 4K OLED, which he said was the best of all worlds. That's the display that Steve just gave me for my birthday. As the name suggests, the VX1655 4K OLED is the best of both worlds. It's OLED, like the Ricoh, but it's 4K, like the KYY. I can have my cake and eat it too. The display is just as brilliant and rich and gorgeous as the Ricoh, but at 4K, text and graphics on it are super crisp. The ViewSonic's VX1655 4K OLED has a static contrast ratio of 100,000 to 1 and a brightness of 400 candelabra per meter squared, which is a fancy way of saying 400 nits. I know that doesn't match the 1600 nits, say, of the XDR display on the MacBook Pros, but in macOS display settings, I discovered that you can actually enable high dynamic range on the ViewSonic, and it looks amazing. I got to come up with a shorter way to say ViewSonic VX1655 4K OLED for this review, but I don't want to leave out 4K or OLED or ViewSonic. So how about I just call it the ViewSonic for the rest of the review, and you all are in charge of remembering it's 4K and OLED. The ViewSonic is very thin, 0.16 inches for the display itself. The electronics are in a small 5.5 by 4.5 inch box on the back, which doubles as the kickstand, and that little box is 0.4 inches thick. While the kickstand/electronics box doesn't go all the way across like the kickstand for the Ricoh, which I do like a little bit better, I find it's very stable even sitting it on a bed. The kickstand can articulate continuously from 15 degrees to 43 degrees, which is bound to give you a comfortable viewing angle. One of the problems with most of the USB-C displays I've tested, and Dave Hamilton and I have had a lot of conversations about that, is that the USB-C cables stick out of the side of the display, which makes it very hard to place that display right up against your laptop. In a small space where these displays are most useful, the last thing you want is to have the display, say, 4 inches farther away because of these cables banging into each other. The ViewSonic has two USB-C ports on the left side of that 5 by 4 inch electronics box, and they're flat against the display itself. Whether you put the display on your right or your left, the cables get out of the way. As I was working with the new display, I again bemoaned the fact that the MacBook Air only has ports on the left side. No matter how well placed the ports are on an external display, that cable sticking out of the left side of the MacBook Air makes it problematic to have the display on the left. And then it hit me. I can solve this problem. And no, it's not just by putting it on the right. I can buy a right-angled USB-C cable for use with portable displays. I can't believe I never thought of this before. I just placed an order for a pair of U-Green 3-meter right-angle USB-C cables for $13 through Amazon. Now, I mentioned that the ViewSonic has two USB-C ports, and that's really common on these types of displays, but it's important to note why there are two. The second one is to provide pass-through power for the display and your laptop. You're probably going to want to use external power when possible while using the ViewSonic display because it drains the battery of the laptop at an alarming rate. I'm talking 20% in just 45 minutes, and that's before I discovered the ViewSonic can do HDR. The ViewSonic comes with a magnetic screen cover. You place it on the display, and there's a little flap that kind of flips over the top and magnetically attaches to the back. It's very secure, and in fact, it's a little bit difficult to pull it off without fingernails. You'll still want to get a laptop-style padded bag for this display, as it feels quite fragile to me, even with the screen surface protected, if you're traveling. The Amazon ad for the ViewSonic said, "Fits in backpacks and purses." But, okay, how big is your purse? It's 13.9 inches by 8.7 inches. 8.8 inches. In comparison, a 14-inch MacBook Pro is 12 by 9, so it's even bigger than that. Even my 15-inch laptop sleeve could be too small. Nope. Save. Stop. Even my Even a 15-inch laptop sleeve could be too small since this display and all the ones I've tested have a 16 by 9 aspect ratio, so they're too long. Be sure to measure and size any bag you plan on to be sure it'll fit. The magnetic fold has a... I did not give the dimensions of my purse. I said, whose purse is that big? Actually, we went to a ball game last night, and the only size purse you could bring was 5 by 7. to be sure it'll fit. Okay, let's see. Oh, Aaliyah's here. Hi, Aaliyah. The magnetic cover has a little fold line in it, and I was kind of curious what that would be for. In the manual, they show that you can use the cover as a surface on which to set your display with the kickstand. I guess if you needed to put the display like on sand or maybe a super lumpy bed, you might rather have a flat surface for it to sit on. I won't likely use that since it creates one of the main problems I had with the KYY's cover stand. It puts a big flap in front of the display, making it take up more space. Now, I got this far into writing the review of the ViewSonic before I looked at what resolutions were available on the display. Turns out the default resolution is 1920 by 1080, and that's what I'd been viewing. It's super crisp because it has so many pixels, but I wasn't getting nearly as much on screen as I might be able to still read with my bionic eyes. I changed it to the full 4K resolution at 3840 by 2160. And while that allowed me to have a lot more windows open and visible, and technically I could still read things on screen, dang, that text was wee tiny. Now, 2K resolution is also available at 2560 by 1440, and that might be what's practical for me. The text is still small, but when I'm doing the live show on the road, simply being able to see every window I need to see is critical. With lower resolutions, I have so little room on screen that I feel like I'm in the middle seat of a 5-person row on an airplane, trying to eat my dinner with a spork. It's important to know that this display looks crystal clear at every resolution I tried. For those who actually want the biggest text possible on a crisp display, I found that all the way down to 1280 by 720, it still looked fantastic. I imagine now I'll just choose the best resolution for the job at hand with the ViewSonic display, and that is so freeing. ViewSonic has the same kind of on-screen controls that they've been using since the dawn of time. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You bring up these controls with this unwieldy little nubbin button on the back of the kickstand electronics box. Reaching around the display to wiggle this nubbin and push in on it is an exercise in dexterity that I have not yet mastered. ViewSonic calls this little nubbin the joy key, but it gives me anything but joy. I went into the menus with the joy key to increase the volume of the speakers for a test. As I suspected, do not even bother using the speakers. They are as awful and tinny as you would expect. Now, if it would bring you happiness, there is a headphone jack next to the USB-C ports, so you could use that. Make sure you don't suggest... Oh, no, stumble. Now, if... Wait, Steve's here! Hi! You can come on, Linz. I'll take a quick break here. How exciting!
Hi, Dad.
She's a champ.
You
Jill's
guys
got
made
the
it
images
easy.
Going. That's fun. Actually, Dad could talk. I don't think he will.
I don't see him in live show listen.
Oh, he isn't. Oh, somebody tell him to get into the... Oh, you know what the problem is? If he goes into live show listen, well, he'd have to make sure to remember to mute or we'll be able to hear him.
Right.
Steve, Mike pointed out that it took two people, Jill and Lindsay, to cover for you.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, so he can listen now? Oh, good. There's Dad. Yeah, I knew you'd make fun of me for that, John. Or George, whatever your name is. But one or more of us are drunk? Hey, would expect. I'm just drinking straight vodka here, so.
You have an
Austin
echo?
has an echo?
Hmm.
Uh-oh. Did my mic change? Check.
How do I sound? Echo from me? Yes.
Echo from both of us?
Oh, because Dad, mute yourself. You're not muted.
Oh. The only sausage that gets made is caused by Dad. I love it.
I'm going to mute him.
Oh, you're muting? He can mute
I muted
himself.
him. He
Oh,
didn't.
you did it? Nice. You could only do that when we're watching TV, right? Okay, that's pretty.
Oh, still echo.
I don't see a mic on Steve. He's not muted. Okay. I see Steve, I see the green circle on you.
Oh, maybe it only muted him for me.
Oh, it might have. Yeah, so can you mute your mic, Steve? Okay. Is that better? Did the echo go away? Okay.
Sweet.
That is so funny. That's the only problem we've had. All right, where was I? Would expect. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now, if it would give you some kind of happiness, there is a headphone jack next to the USB-C ports on the back, so you could use that if you don't want to subject anyone around to you to the sound coming out of those tinny speakers. The only thing I'm having trouble with on the ViewSonic is that I can't adjust the brightness. There's a control for it in the on-screen display menu, but it's grayed out. I studied the user manual and it says that certain view modes lock brightness and contrast to specific levels. The manual says just change the view mode, but the view modes menu is also grayed out. I even watched a video where two pretty funny technical writers from ViewSonic read user complaint comments just as the way they were written. It was pretty funny. And then they explained the answers to the problems encountered. The comments were things like, doesn't work as a touchscreen on Mac. Well, duh, Mac OS isn't a touchscreen OS, right? But anyway, they were pretty funny, but they addressed the fact that the screen will go into low power mode, which locks the display brightness at 15 and the contrast ratio at 70. The remedy is to connect an external power supply. That's helpful info, but I can't control the brightness even when it's connected to a power supply. I even tested using their included HDMI to mini HDMI cable for data and their USB-C to USB-C cable connected to their power supply just to make sure I didn't have some dodgy cable or power supply messing things up, but I still couldn't adjust the brightness. It's pretty darn bright, but I like things really bright. I figured out how to set the display back to factory settings, but I was still unable to control brightness and contrast. The display still looks good, like I said, but I like brightness set as high as possible. I do this even on my Pro Display XDR, which some folks have suggested will burn your eyes out. I'm looking at you, John Siracusa. With the brightness set to maximum, if you find that comfortable, and I know some don't, your pupils will contract, which creates a longer depth of field, hence increasing the depth of field into which your eyes can focus, and that's why I do it. I'll be shooting a note off to ViewSonic to see if there's something I'm missing to allow me to control brightness. The bottom line is that the ViewSonic VX1655 4K OLED USB-C display is still the best portable display I've ever used. The OLED panel provides vivid colors, and the 4K pixels give super crisp text at all resolutions. It's really light, but not quite as light or as thin as the Ricoh, but at 1.5 pounds and between 0.16 and 0.55 inches thick, it's delightfully easy to tote around. I like the magnetic screen cover, and I love the kickstand and the location of the cables. At $500, it's not cheap. It's the same price as the Ricoh that's not 4K, though. The KYY display at half the price isn't OLED, weighs more, and does have that terrible floopy cover stand, but it's 4K. In any case, I'm happy with this because the ViewSonic VX1655 4K OLED USB-C display is truly the best of both worlds. There we go.
Dad's micromanaging me.
Oh, what is he telling you?
Well, so I wasn't on the chat room because I feel like it's weird that you guys can see me typing and searching for things. Like when I'm searching for this GIF. How do you avoid that, Dad?
Oh. Usually show the chat room unless Allison's just starting up her recording. He thinks the recording's boring. I think that's where the money is, personally.
Right?
All right. I'm at that point. Oh, I really want to play Cato, but I've got a 52-minute security bits, and we're at 25 minutes already. What do you think? What do you think, Lindsay?
Yeah, that display talk was a long one. So are we deciding between the Cato motion-based?
Yes, whether to take Cato into next week.
Next week.
So the Cato one's really long, and I don't want to shortchange it. It's 13 minutes long. So I'm kind of, oh, he doesn't search for GIFs. That's what it is.
So what would we be looking at without it? 40?
So I'm at 25, and it's going to be 52 minutes that's 76 minutes. That's well over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think I'm going
Kick
to
it.
move. Yeah, kick it. It's such a good interview. All right. So I'm going to hold that one, and that means I got to do a couple things. I got to take that out of the show notes, and I got to move it into. I got to do a new thing here, and I got to create an NC 991 is next week, right? NC number 991.
Don't forget the chapter mark.
Oh, yeah, but I got to also take Cato from Aioli out of here and put it up in here. All right. Let's look at podcasts. Yes. And, oh, cancel. Don't send. Hang on. Got to make sure it ends up in the other one. I know this is really boring. Okay, send a blog. This is really only going to be 3 topics, but too long. You even reminded me? What did you remind me of?
Chapter mark, I think.
Oh, but I needed to make that decision before I could do the chapter mark. So now we can do the most important chapter mark. Support the show. I've got a good commercial this time. Wait till you hear this one. It's so clever. Copy link. Okay, chapter mark done. Oh, Steve, you got to notice what the Kevin's chapter thing says. Oh, and did you say hi to Peter? Is Boutros 55? Okay, let's see. Uh-oh. Wait, I forgot something. Need to move one more thing into the next one. I had a comment about this. Send back to blog. I know there's not enough in it. Okay, and then we're going to go back to this one. And then we're going to go here. Here we go. Okay. Here's a hot tip. Did you know that if you pledge to Try that again. Here's a hot tip. Did you know that if you pledge to support the show financially through Patreon, you get an ad-free show? Yeah, it's true. The same show that you've come to know and love over almost 19 years every single week without fail is available to you without interruption by ads. Okay, to be fair, you get the same thing without paying, but doesn't it sound better to be a patron of the Podfeet podcast and get it for free? If it does sound good to you, wait, that's not for free. So I shouldn't ad-lib. Let's see. Okay, to be fair, you do get the same thing without paying, but doesn't it sound better to be a patron of the Podfeet podcast? If it does sound good to you, head on over to podfeet.com/Patreon and join the heroes who support the show. Is that panhandling there? All right. Who's doing the links to the blog posts?
Me. Right?
Oh.
Oh.
He's compliment, right? Like, aren't I? Yeah, Jill's doing the pictures, and Lindsay's doing the blog post. All right. Uh-oh. Kurt's confused. All right. We need some security bits music. This is only going to be 4 chapters. Let's see, I think I do that there. Let's see. And then, oh, you can stay in, Linz. I'm going to be messing around here for a little bit.
Oh,
Getting set up. She's
the only
so
problem
polite.
was caused by a dude.
What's that?
Bruce said the only problem was caused by a dude.
I saw a meme today that said, do you know where men get their mansplaining? They get
Where?
it from a well, actually. Get it?
Kinda.
Oh, Dad likes to hear the plink. You want to hear the plink, Linz?
Yes.
Blink.
Did you see how she stopped talking when I did the plink, Steve? That's so she could hear the plink.
That sounds like a Bart plink, right?
That was Bart, yeah.
Oh, show the plink. Sorry. Goodness. Okay.
Show the plink?
Dad wants me to show the plink. I think.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Blink.
There. He is micromanaging. I don't know, Steve. Sounds like Lindsay could just be the producer from now on, you know? You got to watch the beginning of the show. The kids came in and Sienna had a lot of opinions. Oh, the one about the man who died pontificating to women he fell into a well, actually.
Oh, that's good.
All right, let's see how this sounds. Who support the show? Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Bouchotz. How bad are things this week, Bart?
I didn't do an average score, but I don't think it's too bad. Some homework for people though. There's one piece of homework for people. There's one actually, yeah. We may as well just jump there now and just get out of the way. There is one action alert, which is a critical update to Putty, which is a fantastic free app for doing SSH and similar stuff on Windows. But it doesn't. It's a very simple app, which is great. But it doesn't have an auto updater or anything because it's a very simple app. So you tend to download it and never think about it ever again. Which means if you look at the version number, you're likely to be a long way from 78, which is the current version. You're likely to be like 60 something. I've seen 50 somethings. Anyway, they had a bug in how they started to do some of the more modern private keys, the elliptic curve cryptography stuff. And if a baddie can trick you into connecting to their SSH server 60 times, they can get your private key. And then they can become you on other servers you have access to. So the attack scenario is most realistic against some sort of automated process. If you have something happening automatically, say, some sort of backup over SFTP or something, and you're running on Windows and you have it automated, that's kind of the biggest risk. But either way, you should update your putty, because I found that a lot of putties I discovered on, I won't say where I discovered them, were so old they weren't vulnerable to this bug.
So sad.
Yeah, but I still told everyone to update their putties regardless. And Putty being free, being an open source client, its brain is in other places too. So WSFTP and FileZilla actually use Putty's brain. So if you use those two apps on Windows, you need to update as well.
Okay. I haven't used Windows in 1,000 years, but I remember installing Putty on my Windows machine at work. Isn't that crazy? That some people have it so old that it doesn't yet have that bug. I can't believe that one. Yeah, so go check out that Putty thing. That's rough. Horny dad joke. Now here's one problem, because I did this. Do you guys use any like SSH clients like that, Lindsay? Have you heard of do you know what that is? What Putty is?
Mm-mm.
It's also an FTP client, is for shoving files around. You use all modern tools with like Microsoft Teams and all that, right?
Yeah, it's all Microsoft all the way.
You're a Microsoft lover. You love Teams.
I do like Teams. It's really fun.
Yeah, I like it. Well, things are going well. I can keep playing for a little while here, but actually, let me make sure things are going to go okay at the end here, because let's see how this is going here. Oh, Lindsay has a request for the Forbes as a little kid doing plank, but let me finish this, see where I got to cut off here.
We did.
Right.
You should be proud.
That is something to celebrate, Bart. I like that as a way to end. That's fantastic.
Excellent. Well, until next time, folks, remember the most important thing of all, stay patched. so you stay secure.
There we go. All right. Hopefully, I wonder whether Forbes is listening. I'm using a mouse. I hate using a mouse. And the weird thing is, the mouse doesn't scroll. The scroll wheel doesn't scroll in Discord. I have to grab the scroll bar and move it. It's been a long time. Let's see.
I agree with the chat about Teams. It was really weird that new Teams was out and we were allowed to use old Teams for a while, but then same thing, Jill, they eventually removed our
Is
old
new Teams better or worse?
I can't tell the difference besides the font being very large on the left-hand side.
And you can't change it?
And I can't change it, but it might just be a weird setting I have.
Oh, that's funny. All right, here we go. Here comes Forbes.
Blinky blink.
Oh,
Is that the cutest?
I love it.
Blinky blink.
All right, we got to teach Sienna to say plink.
Blinky blink.
I like that one. Oh, here's Jill. I don't know why. I just love playing these.
Plink. I'm not as cute as Bart is. Plink.
You got to hear both of those.
Plink. I'm not as cute as Bart is. Plink.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. I'm going to finish us out here.
Question for you. Do you usually does Dad usually copy in the transcript link?
No, because the transcript doesn't exist until
Yeah,
after the recording gets finished and gets created. So, yeah.
That would make sense.
You can put all these links to my email, to Mastodon, to I want to see you do them all. Just spam the crud out of them here. Here we go. All right, you got to stay right in rhythm as I'm doing it too. All right. All right, that's going to wind us up for this week. Many thanks to Lindsay for standing in and producing the show, for Steve with Steve's absence, and for Jill for putting in. I'm stumbling too much. That's what ad-libbing sounds like. Well, that is going to wind us up for this week. And I want to thank Lindsay again for standing in for Steve while he's off on his big adventure to Washington, D.C. She did a great job doing production of the show. Steve actually came in partway through the show and started micromanaging her, which was awesome. But also to Jill for pasting in the screenshots as people are watching in the live stream. You can see it in the chat room, and that's kind of a way to keep everybody engaged in what I'm blathering about. So I appreciate both of you for doing this extra work for us. Anyway, did you know you can email me anytime you like at allison@podfeed.com? We're going to be having some time coming up here where I'm going to be taking some long vacations, and Bart and Jill and Alistair will be running the show, and they are going to need content from you. So I'm giving you lots of warning. It's not going to be until I'm going to need a little help in June, and they're going to need help in, boy, I should have memorized the dates, later than June. But we're going to need a lot of content, so start thinking ahead about what you want to record. You can send me an email at allison@podfeed.com with those recordings. If you have a question or suggestion, just send it on over. Remember, everything good starts with podfeed.com. You can follow me on Mastodon at podfeed.com/Mastodon. If you want to listen to the podcast on YouTube, you can go to podfeed.com/YouTube. If you want to join in the conversation, you can join our Slack community at podfeed.com/Slack. It's a great place to go where you can talk to me and all of the other lovely NosillaCast castaways. You can support the show at podfeed.com/Patreon or with a one-time donation at podfeed.com/PayPal. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show like we did this week, head on over to podfeed.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCast castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. She's a GIF ninja. Man, Kevin, I hit stop and your ending comment was made there. So yeah, one of your jobs is to count the chapter marks. Luckily, it's not going to be too high this time.
How do I count them? Hindenburg? No.
No, I'm going to count Hindenburg. So I'm going to tell you how many chapter marks I put in, but you need to count the number of links that you would expect to see.
Got it.
So the major one. So it should be, I think it should be the 3 reviews or 3. Well, yeah. I don't want to lead the witness. How many do you get?
I think I would be getting 4 or 5 if we count support the show.
We count support the show. 5.
So 5?
That's the right answer. Well, it's what I got, whether that's the right answer. glad I'm glad you're back, Aaliyah. This is good. I'm glad you'll be coming more often. Got back with your new guide dog. Oh, good. I'm glad you got a new guide dog. That's great. All right, let me check this final thing here. And stay subscribed. Oh, that was weird. It looked like it showed my click at the end. It didn't. Okay. So, so we're an hour and a half long. That was plenty long. Didn't need another 13 minutes.
An hour and a half?
Yeah. 52 minutes with Bart.
That's not an hour and a half.
Hour and 24 minutes.
Oh,
So Bart alone was 52 minutes, and I did 25.
got it.
Somehow that added to an hour and 24. I must have been wrong on how far we were. And I'm going to export.
Aaliyah, I think we're going to need a picture.
Oh, we do.
3/4 lab, 1/4 golden. So
Now does the lab calm? Well, golden retrievers are pretty calm too, right? Who's with the count?
yeah.
Is that your wife, John? Who is that? No, who is that? Yes, photos, please. We need puppy photos. You need to get your floors finished before you get a dog. All right. Well, Tesla. Oh, she's sleeping on Forbes's new clothes. Is that okay?
You bought them.
It's gonna be smelly. All right. I think we are. I think we're done. A little bit early. We're gonna let class out. I thank you all so much for coming. Thanks again, Lindsay and Jill, for helping me out here. It seems like it worked flawlessly, except for that guy that kind of messed up the audio.
I should have kicked him out. That's one of my duties, right? As a moderator, to kick
That's
out the
right.
riffraff.
Yeah, you've got the power. Steve, do you want to say hi? You can. You can give yourself voice if you want.
We'll allow it.
Oh, good. Peter's going to be back. Oh, you're in Queensland. Wow, very cool. I bet he's watching the news and not paying any attention. He's not responding to me.
And he stopped criticizing me even when
Oh,
I went
no.
over to Hindenburg.
Not after my flub up. Oh. You can say hi, Steve. Well, I miss talking to you. Oh, there. Okay, good. He said hi. All right, everybody. Oh, you know what? He didn't teach us how to stop it. I'm guessing it's the end stream button.
I think so, probably.
So when you're going to end stream, Lindsay, and that's going to end the video, the live video, but I will still be able to hear you in StreamYard until we're completely done shutting things down. And then in Discord, you need to hit the hang up button in order to leave
Okay.
when you're ready to go. So we usually kill the video stream first. But we say
Okay.
goodbye.
Goodbye, stream.
Bye, Rose. Whether you're out there or not. I haven't seen her in a long time. All right. Gonna do it, Lindsay.